Hello everybody, welcome back to That's Football. World Cup watch-alongs here. I'm Mark Goldbridge. It's Germany against the Ivory Coast. Possibly the game of Group Stage 2. Both these teams winning in Group Stage 1. Ivory Coast beating Ecuador, Germany smashing Curacao. Remember, finishing top in your group gives you a huge advantage going into the knockouts. And that's what's at stake here. I mean, look, you win this game, you get an easier knockout stage game, you stay in the tournament longer. You lose this game, you maybe finish second, you get a harder group, you maybe go home sooner. So there is jeopardy in this game for both of these sides. And I think more interestingly for me, we've got two teams that play good football. Big fan of Nagelsmann and the way he plays football. And I was very impressed with the Ivory Coast against Ecuador as well. So, look, we've just watched the Netherlands play Sweden, and honestly, we might get a scenario here where Germany are just on a different level to the Ivory Coast, and, you know, the traditional favourites just end up being, you know, the traditional favourites, and they're just too good. I hope that's not the case. I think we are desperately craving in football the next phase being the underdog, the dark horse, being able to mix it up with the favourites. So that's what we're looking at tonight, and hopefully that's what we see tonight. But it's going to be hard. It's going to be a hard game for Ivory Coast, no doubt about it. And I think that we'll just have to see how the first sort of first 20 minutes go. Sorry, I've got a problem here. Let me just try and fix it. I don't know why it does this every bloody time. Let's try to tweak this out. Let's see if it works this time. No, it's broken again. This sounds insane, but I've got 95-1 on Ivory Coast to win. Most shots and most corners, 10 quid bet, who knows? So Ivory Coast win. They also have the most shots and they also have the most corners. Interesting. Interesting theory you have there, Nick P. Thank you very much for your comment. This is absolutely bewildering to me why this won't work, but we'll go again. It's going to work. It's going to work this time. It's going to work this time. It's worked. There we go. Happy days. Thank you. Okay. Tar could be a weak spot for the Germans. Yeah, I think the midfield three of Ivory Coast is very energetic. Look, the Germans are not the Germans of maybe, you know, even 2014. The Germans I grew up watching, you know, they were, you know, I think about Italia 90 Germany. Shit, they were absolutely amazing. I don't think German football's in that state at the moment. You can never call a country that's won the World Cup like they've won the World Cup an underdog, but I don't think coming into this tournament Germany would be up there with the Spains and the Frances and the Argentinas. But they have pedigree. They have, you know, no one's going to be surprised if Germany suddenly look like a team that can win the World Cup. I think the Nagelsmann's football is, you know, very, very much to be admired. But at some point, we are hoping in world football that we're going to see a Japan or an Ivory Coast or a Colombia take that step. Maybe not to win it, but, you know, hit a final, Morocco. And that's what, you know, at some point it will happen. It might not be today, but at some point we will witness it. And I think that's what the game is about today. Can Ivory Coast mix it up with Germany? Or will we see Germany have way more possession and put them away? And Havertz had half a chance there straight away. Griffey says, does Mark hate Portugal? Why would I hate Portugal? I don't know. I don't know why that would be the case. Did you see Lineker on ITV? Oh, mate. I just think it was... ITV have done so well in this World Cup. And I think that was just a cheap shot, waste of time. putting a former BBC presenter on as a pundit on ITV, I'm sure a few people thought that was a great idea. I just thought it was shit. Honestly, I just did. Yeah, I do. Newcastle reject 80 million bid from Tottenham for Tonali, says Danny. Is that true? Is that true? Who has impressed you the most and vice versa, says Oz? Well, I think Turkey have been the flops of the tournament and will be the flops because they're the first team to go home, which is embarrassing. Who's impressed me the most? I mean, I've got to say, we haven't seen everybody play 2 games yet, but I think the Netherlands have been very impressive. I thought they played well against Japan, and that's to Japan's credit as well. So Netherlands have been impressive. Everybody else, I'd say, who's been impressive, I'm judging them after game 1. I mean, I think England were very good. I think France were very good in the second half. I thought Argentina were very good, but they've only played 1 game. Thank you very much for your super chat, by the way. Thanks everyone who's tuning in on TikTok, as always. Vrazzo TV, thanks for the follow. And Dan. Germany making the early plays here. Some good football. Bulldog says, the Turkish aren't the first team home. Haiti were technically. Mate, are you trying to protect Turkey from comparing them to Haiti? I don't think Turkey's expectations were the same as Haiti coming into this World Cup. I don't think you can say that Haiti have been the flop of the tournament compared to Turkey. Expectations squad much bigger. Ivory Coast with a chance to break. Slip it in! Oh, God. You should have slipped that in ages ago. Now it is Diamonde. He's playing off the left today because Ahmad's on the right. Does well. And he'll know a lot about these German players, Diamonde, because, of course, he plies his trade in Germany for RB Leipzig. So he should be quite comfortable with the opposition. Let me just catch up on these super chats. BJ, thank you very much for joining the members club. And thank you very much to Nick Pay as well. Michael Sneaky, thanks for your follows. Are you doing a late game tonight, Mark? No, I'm in a novelty position actually for the next couple of nights because I'm not actually doing an early morning hours show because I've got no intention of doing Curacao, Ecuador at 1 a.m. I literally would fall asleep anyway, and so no, it's a bit of a strange one, but I think the next early hours morning game I'm doing is Norway-Senegal at 1 a.m. on Tuesday morning, early morning of Tuesday. Lineker was on ITV for a little bit, Lee, yeah. Netflix show's obviously not doing very well, is it? I've got to say though, I think Netflix have made a mistake with that because most people who watch Netflix aren't over 50 getting up for a piss in the night. And 2, who wants to watch any football show like that every day? I think they should have done it twice a week. I think every single day doing an hour about the World Cup is too much, in my opinion. USA have impressed me the most. I think USA have to be the team that impresses the most, actually, because they've played 2 games and they've been very good. Rob, Big Beans, Abu, Michael, Sneaky, thanks for the follow. Do the 5 a.m. game tomorrow, says Joseph. I'll get up just for you, me and you. We'll do a live stream, yeah? You in the live chat on your own and me. Jessica says, I think Germany are going to win this 5-2. Oh, well, I'm really looking forward to this game. If I was Ivory Coast, I would... Oh, here we go. Oh, he's got to get there. He's not going to get there. If I was Ivory Coast, I'd play exactly how they are. Organised counter. And people might go, well, it's counter-attacking. But Man United got into 3rd place in the Premier League doing this. You know, when you're climbing a mountain, first things first, make sure you don't slip. If Ivory Coast want to be a team that can compete for the World Cup, you don't go toe-to-toe against Germany. You respect them and you find a way to win. So if I was Ivory Coast, I'd be like, look, Let them have the ball. Let's counter. Let's hurt them on the break. We don't need to go toe-to-toe with them. And I think that's exactly what they're looking to do in the first 5 here. Caleb, Abu and Mateen, thanks for your follows. If you want to subscribe on YouTube, by the way, you're very welcome. We are on the road to 1.5 million and we're on 487,000 at the moment. So 13,000 away from that magic 1.5 million. Please click and subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. And Brian Brobby is a beast. I can see Brobby getting a move from Sunderland, and I can see Sunderland getting some good money for him, to be fair. He's a handful in the Premier League, and I can see other clubs looking at him and going, you know, it could be a handful for us. Sunderland, did Sunderland get into Europe, or did they miss out? Here's Bonnie down the wing. I mean, some of these Ivory Coast players, by the way, they're no slouches. Ahmad United, Diamonde, £100 million player. Bonnie plays for Inter Milan. Kessie, Sangari. There are more than capable sides that, you know, more and more these international sides now, they don't have weak players, and it's very good defending there. From he was brilliant against Ecuador as well. Is it Sang? I can't remember his name now. Let me get the lineups right. Singo, number 5. I thought he was brilliant against Ecuador for Ivory Coast. Plays for Galatasaray, only 25. I mean, he wasn't he the one who basically set up the Ahmad goal? Very, very strong, very, very quick. They've got Kosanu, who plays for Atalanta at the centre-back as well. Agbadou, who's at Besiktas. Ndika's on the bench. I remember United being linked to Ndika, actually. I always thought he was a good centre-back. Still only 26. Yes, it's Sangari from Forest. Kesse still plays in Saudi. And Ole is the other midfielder, number 26. He's only 20. He plays for Trabzonspor. Quite a few players in this starting team for Ivory Coast who play in Turkey, actually. And I tell you what, I wouldn't rule out Havertz being a Golden Boot contender. I think Germany have this. Well, look at closer. Look at Podolski. Germany have this amazing tendency. Oh, great save from Havertz's header there by the goalkeeper. Lovely cross from Kimmich. Havertz gets up, heads it in the bottom corner, and it's a good save by their keeper. But as I was saying there, you don't have to be the best striker in the world to play in a German side. They will find you. Take an FC. Keeper makes a good save, both hands on it. But there's goals to be had. Schlotterbeck is down injured here for Germany. Hopefully it's not a bad one. Just going to wait and see. Germany. Yeah, Germany with a bit more possession in the first few minutes, but I wouldn't rule out Ivory Coast on the break. And also, this Ivory Coast team knows how to defend. Germany. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Please do share the video. Nearly 7,000 watching on YouTube already. Thanks everyone who's given us a follow on TikTok as well. Rawlings, Ice Cold, Legends, appreciate that. Are you enjoying the World Cup, Mark? Oh, massively, yes. I mean, I don't want to scare anybody, but like I think I'm right in saying that the World Cup final is 4 weeks away tomorrow. I'm right. I feel like this World Cup's been going on for ages. We've still got another 4 weeks of it. It's factually the longest World Cup in history. Here's Diamonde down the left-hand side. He's got a lot of space. He's looking for support. He lays it off to the fullback. It's a little dinky cross. Edge of the box. Good block. Germany defending well there. But that was a very sprightly and quick and effective counter there from Ivory Coast. Yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying the tournament. I think you've got to pace yourself. I don't know about anybody else, but you... well, if you can do, fair play. But I just think in a tournament like this, you've got to pace yourself. You've got to find time to, rest and recuperate because it is relentless. And I tell you what, I know I've got a couple of mates who've said they want to watch every single game. I just don't believe them. I just don't believe you can do it. And hold down a social life and a job. I just don't think it's possible. Lurker says, sorry, not Lurker, Wavy says, I missed the Australian referee that treated the game like a rugby match. What game was that? I know the one you're on about, yeah. Obi, thanks for the follow. Appreciate you. And David as well. Can you scout and Micha for United? Well, he's playing. He's a very good player. Newcastle won 85 million for Tonali. Spurs had a 75 million bid rejected, according to DiMarzio. To be fair to Newcastle, I don't know what you think, but I would say Tonali's a 90 million pound player. Jay Don says I'm unemployed at the moment, and even I'm not watching all the games. It's hard, and also, with all due respect, it's very, very difficult to, even if you've got the time, it's very, very difficult to stay up until 4 o'clock in the morning and watch Jordan play Algeria. I mean, I find it hard getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to catch a plane to go on holiday. Getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to watch Jordan play Algeria, that's some level of motivation, that is. Hi Mark, hope you're well, says Daniel. Won't be easy for them, but I think Germany will get the win. Who's your favourite German player ever? If you have 11, then have one. Thank you for the great watch along so far. Thank you, Daniel. My favourite German player ever? Well, who's everybody else's favourite German? I always loved Schweinsteiger. Schlotterbeck's gone down injured again here. I loved Schweinsteiger. And I was over the moon when United signed him. But he was over the hill. Yeah, I always liked Schweinsteiger. I'll be honest, in the 90s, if I'd said I liked a German player, I'd probably get in trouble. Different world. It wasn't the done thing to like a German player. In fact, in the mid-90s, I don't know whether anyone else used to do this. We used to have the catalogue, Freeman's catalogue, Littlewood's catalogue, and it used to come out twice a year, and halfway through the year, they'd have a sales catalogue, and the German 94 green kit was reduced. And I said to my mum I liked it, so she got it me. And I wore it down the local co-op, and the looks I was getting from the old folk was incredible. But to be fair, that old folk probably would have been old. Well, we're talking 1994. So if you were 60 in 1994, that means you were born in 1934, which means you probably did remember the 1939 to 1945 conflict in the world. So, you know, as I say, it was a bit of a different world I grew up in relation to some people still had a problem, certainly with Argentina, and the Falklands was in the 80s. And there's nothing wrong with acknowledging that. The world changes. But, yeah, so I don't remember in the 90s really loving a German player. And also, they used to knock us out of the tournaments all the time, so I didn't bloody like them. Italia 90, 96. But I did. Schweinsteiger, I think, is my German player. And it's not because he played for Man United. I just really liked Schweinsteiger. I'll tell you who else I did like as well. Sammer. No, not Sammer. Effenberg. Effenberg. I really appreciated him as a midfielder. I thought he was very good. Can't remember it's for Stefan Effenberg. Not Stefan Edberg. Germany on the attack here. Good defending by Ivory Coast. Muller, I never liked Muller because of the penalty in Euro 96. Kroos, I did like Tony Kroos. I did like him. But yeah, I'd say Effenberg and Schweinsteiger were probably my two that I really like. Lothar Matthäus, in hindsight, amazing. And I you know what? I like Matthäus as well. I remember England losing on penalties in Italia 90. And obviously the rivalry between Germany and England at that time was huge. And he went straight over to Chris Waddle when he missed a penalty and sort of consoled him. And Matthäus was a great player as well. I really do. I've got a lot of respect for Matthäus. Super player. Do you like Gundogan, says Ross? No, because he played for City. Liam said, I've had the day from hell today at work. I think we're all intrigued what you do for work, Liam. Hot take calling World War II the conflict, says Alpha. It was a play on Uncle Albert from Only Fools and Horses. Close as my favourite German player, World Cup made for him, says Anto. Well, as I said, I think with Germany, whoever you are up front, you've always got a good chance of winning the Golden Boot. They're so good at finding their striker. I mean, already in this game, Havertz has had a couple of chances. Angry Brit says, could you ever imagine a day Tottenham board with no Europe is more ambitious than United? Criminal how we just walk away just because of competition. Cowardly, I would say. Angry Brit. What other watch-alongs are you going to do, Mark? Says Matthew. We'll talk about that at half-time. Media says, are you doing the 1 a.m. game? Oh, God, no. No. Not today. Stevie J says Spurs £80 million rejected for Tonali. Ryan says this stadium in Toronto is the only stadium that's built for soccer games outside Mexico that's hosting. Oz says, I think you're overrating IVC. Uncharacteristic of you. Don't know what that means. Your best non-big name left-back in the World Cup thus far to United. I'm not buying a left-back. Mate, you don't watch the channel, do you? I don't scout people in the World Cup. So I'm not going to give you a name because I don't scout people for Man United in the World Cup. There might be a player that does well in the World Cup that we should have scouted through the season. But I'm not watching the World Cup to scout players. Diamonde being this good with everything that's happened. Top player, top mentality, says AMC. Thank you very much for that. Mark Henry and Yemi, thanks for your follows. And Blockbuster as well. CCFC says, wife's just divorced me, mate. Well, you never know. Could be a blessing. Best way to deal with someone that has anger issues, says Mo. I mean, last time I checked, it's a football watch-along. I mean, if someone's got anger issues, I'd say the worst thing you can do is say calm down. In my experience, that tends to make them even more angry. Take a chill pill. It's not that deep. These seem to be inflammatory comments. Would you take Pavlovic at Man United, says Darshan. I think I'd take most of the Bayern Munich side. Shot there from Enmicha, deflected over the bar. Jamie says, Are there any countries you would have liked to see at the World Cup for players or fans? I don't take any satisfaction that Italy aren't here. They don't deserve to be here, but I would always like to see Italy in the tournament because they are a traditional World Cup team. Selfishly, I'd like to have seen Denmark here because of Dorgu and Rasmus and people like that. Oh! He's given a foul. He's given a foul. Pavlovic, someone just mentioned him there. He's gone up with the goalkeeper. Keeper's gone to get the ball. Collision and ball's gone in, but referee is saying foul. I'd love Ireland to have been here, yeah. Is it a foul? Yes. It's not a foul because he wins the ball. It's what he does with his arm. Right in his face. Yeah, it's a foul. He's actually jumped higher than the goalkeeper. It's what he's doing with his arm. It's a foul. Yeah, the keeper's had one in the face. My instant reaction to that is it's a foul. It's a great leap, but he's basically elbowed him in the face by accident. Nagelsmann doesn't want to foul for it, but I think it is. Lahm and Irwin are two of the best fullbacks to ever kick a ball. Never in discussion of best players in their position. What are your thoughts on that, Mark? Says Anto. I think it's just laziness, mate. I think sometimes it just comes down to frequency bias as well, you know. In the sense that people probably think Trent Alexander-Arnold's a better fullback than Philipp Lahm because he gets mentioned more. German kit is very nice. Would you swap Bruno for Musiala? No, I don't think there's a number 10 in the world I'd swap Bruno for, just because of his output, Matteo. Oz said, I think you... Oh, so you think I'm overrating Ivory Coast? I can't overrate something that I've already said I'm still assessing. I thought they were very good against Ecuador. I actually thought Ecuador were quite good, and I think Ecuador will beat Curacao quite convincingly. I'm hopeful Ivory Coast are going to be good, but if Germany put them to the sword, then, you know, that will be the end of that. And Micha is pronounced like Mocha, but E. And Micha. I thought that's how I did it, MC. While on that topic, what you think of the World War II themed England chant? I personally think it's good banter, but when chanting it, it can't be meant seriously, says Petter. I don't really have any thoughts on it, mate. And not because I want to avoid it, I just don't have any thoughts on it. I think the passage of time makes anything open to comedy, doesn't it? You know, people joke about the Titanic, but ultimately a few hundred people died in cold water. If you did it the week after, it would be seen as crude. If you do it 100 years later, everyone's like, yeah, great joke. So Abdul Rahman, thanks for your follow. Happy birthday, Joshua. And ABC, thank you very much. Simon, 2. And Khaled. Hydration break already? That was fast. Sorry, Mark, but you're wrong. The war should never be joked about, says David. I didn't say it should, David. Maybe if you got off your high horse and you know, stood at the level of us mere mortals, you'd listen to what I said. I said I don't have an opinion on it. I would love Nathaniel Brown at Manchester United, says Sepp. Not having to watch 2-minute throw-ins has been great, says Gam. Liam Vernon says, I work at a theme park and had customers, parents and kids arguing with me. I really felt like flipping out, but that wouldn't look good, says Liam. Oh, they'll stop moaning if you did, mate. White just followed theirs as on TikTok as well. Apparently I missed the Liverpool fans super chat, so I'm just going to go and try and find it here. Who's your favourite Dutch player? Love the works as LFC Times. Oh, that was it. My favourite Dutch player of all time. Instantly Bergkamp came into my head. But if I'm being honest, I think as a young kid, I was absolutely in awe of Van Basten. And, you know, I remember watching that 88 final against Russia, and that volley to this day is still one of the greatest things I've ever seen in a final. So I think, if I'm being honest, I don't know whether you can judge football properly at 8 years of age. But that goal just is one of the greatest goals I've ever seen watching it on TV live. I just thought it was an incredible goal. What's that behind the stadium? Is that the sea? It is. That's pretty. That's pretty. Yeah. Do you think Ivory Coast can win this game? I think Germany are the better team at the moment. Bergkamp was better than Van Basten, says Steve. He definitely wasn't. It's Lake Ontario. Thank you very much, Tin. Can you name 3 Irish starters at the moment, says Brian Dale. For Ireland, I bet Evan Ferguson doesn't start, does he? Does Seamus Coleman still play? O'Brien at Everton. And oh God, Stephen Carr still playing. John O'Shea. I feel like I shouldn't. I don't want to look at the chat. I would say O'Brien for Everton, Coleman for Everton, and Evan Ferguson. I don't think he plays. Parrott, is he Irish? Parrott. Yes. There we go. There we go. 3. Parrott, O'Brien, and Coleman. Back of the net. Yay or nay, clubs shouldn't go after players who play well in internationals, but if they play bad, should clubs back away, i.e. Diamonde at the minute, says Ross. Look, I think if a player does well in the World Cup, great. It verifies and vindicates. It's got to score. Oh, yes! Ivory Coast lead 1-0. It's Kesse. It's Kesse. I thought Ahmad was going to score. He somehow managed to miss it. But it's 1-0 Ivory Coast. We got a goal. And it's Ivory Coast. Somebody was just saying, can Ivory Coast win this game of football? And they can. Because they are winning at the moment. Ivory Coast leading 1-0. Kessie with the goal. Lovely play down the wing. I don't know whether what was that Diamonde put it in. Ahmad should have scored, but Kessie's there to convert it. Ahmad couldn't quite get it out of his feet. It was a good block by Brown, but Kessie was there to follow it in. And it's 1-0 to Ivory Coast. I can't see who it was who put the cross in, but Kessie did very, very well. And they lead 1-0. Well, we've now got a game on our hands as Germany take the lead. After half an hour. I've done that one, thank you. It was the Diamonde assist as well. Yeah, I thought it was him down the wing. Good play. What a player. Should be on Man United's shopping list, but isn't. It was brilliant timing. Mark reads the comment about Diamonde's performance and then he produces an assist. Absolute cinema. Says Ashish. He's a brilliant player. If they can switch it out, they need to get this. Here he is again. They're getting the ball out to him, and they're going to have to double up on him. Well, this is what we want in this World Cup. You know, we've had some good games, but we want to start to see some shock results. Crazy how United considered 85 million for Tonali expensive, says Aman. Is Diamonde worth 110 million, says Chris. Diamonde is worth whatever it is you think it's worth to get a player that you really, really want. If you're not sure, don't pay the money. If you are convinced he's the right player, pay the money, because he'll be at your club for years. German player who played for Arsenal. Ozil, Podolski, Mertesacker, Havertz. I tell you what, they are playing very well, Ivory Coast. Lots of energy. And, you know, we want to see that. We know this tournament's is in a warm climate. And if you're South American, African, Asian teams, they are going to be more used to playing in games where the heat, you know, Europe is traditionally cooler than those continents. Nick Peters, come on Ivory Coast. Hi Mark, second place predictions as RD. I think whoever loses this comes second in the group. Thesp says there are some concerns about Germany at this tournament when they had to bring Manuel Neuer out of retirement. The thing about Ivory Coast is they are well set up to counter. When you've got Ahmad and Sangari and you've got Toure, another winger on the bench, get the ball out wide. They like to take people on. Bit of pace in the attack. HG123 says Ivory Coast to make round 16. I think if they top this group, they'll get to the round of 16, yeah. Bailey says, I can't believe Germany are losing against Ivory Coast. I love the World Cup. And Charlie says, if Ivory Coast win this, they win the group based on head-to-head anyway. Yeah, I need to get that. I need to get that into my head, actually. Of course, Ivory Coast would go up to 6. And even if they lost the last game to Curaçao, which they wouldn't, and Germany won, and they both finish on 6, Ivory Coast would finish ahead of them on head-to-head. So a win for Ivory Coast here means they top the group. Very good point. Amir says, Ivory Coast is dark house of the tournament. I think he means horse. Old predictive text there. Jason says, Diamande on the left, unfortunately Diallo on the right. United should hijack Liverpool's move for Diamonde, says Daryl. Yeah, we haven't got the money. Haven't got the money. Nearly 10,000 watching on YouTube. Please do share the video. Thanks everyone who's getting involved. Ahmad didn't score. No. Don't listen to Prince. He's lying. It was Kessie. Ahmad could have scored. It was a good block by Nathaniel Brown, but Kessie followed it. Kessie followed it in. Idrissa Gueye. Does he play for Ivory Coast or is he? I think he's Senegal, isn't he? Wahi, Toure, Pepe. Yeah, Senegal is Idrissa Gueye. Thank you. What's your view of QPR, mate? Says Pablo. I mean, QPR for me would be a traditional Premier League side with Sheffield Wednesday because when I was, watching it at the start of the Premier League, that's where he was playing. No foul there. 3v3 for Ivory Coast. Bonnie. Oh my God, I thought he was going to score. It was a good save by Neuer. He got a good curl on it, but there wasn't any power and Neuer just took it out the air. Mark Goldbridge's Darth Vader says USA final versus England. I'd take that. I'd take any final with England in it, to be honest. Germany on the attack. Good play by Ivory Coast, playing it out from the back. I do like the way that the referees are just not giving soft fouls as well. I think that's something that needs to be acknowledged. There's so many fouls that would get given in the Premier League and maybe even in the Champions League. I thought that was a foul. No, he's not giving it. Havertz thinks he's scored. Well, what's the referee doing there? I thought he was giving the foul. I thought he wasn't going to give the foul. He seemed to play on. I'd be fuming if I was German there. It looked like a foul, and then it looked like he played on. I mean, it's definitely a foul. He trips him over, but it looked like he was going to play on. I mean, yeah, 100% it's a foul. I mean, he actually kicks him twice. 100% a foul, but I thought he was playing on. Right decision in the end, but momentarily it looked like he was playing on. But to be fair to the referee, I think they want to try and play on where they can. What's your favourite song? Ollie Gets Rough or Agadoo? Ollie Gets Rough. Agadoo, definitely KFC. What's your view of QPR? We've done that. Would this be the biggest shock so far if Ivory Coast hang on? Well, I don't think it's a case of hanging on, Kev. They're doing quite well at the moment. But it would be a shock, yeah. It'd be a shock because it's a World Cup win against a World Cup powerhouse. Long way to go though. RD says England versus who in the final? I don't know, mate. I can't predict because until I know what the route is for everybody, it's hard to predict, isn't it? I mean, I'm hoping that England are on the side of the draw that's got no France, Argentina, or Spain, and they cannibalise each other. What makes a great bear at the moment, says Clark. Bear? I don't know. What does make a great bear? Start, bench, sell. Salah, Luis Diaz, Diamonde. I'd start... I actually would start Diamonde at the moment. I'd bench Diaz and I'd sell Salah on current form. If we're talking best form ever, then obviously I'd start Salah. I can't believe Germany's losing, says Bailey. We've done that one. William, thanks for the follow. Your mama as well. Jake Patchett and Ryan3112. The goal has certainly opened up the game more. Germany playing with a little bit more intensity. Good block. That's going to go for a corner to Germany. Oasis says, I'm going to Mallorca soon. Do I need to be careful of the pineapple guy? It's a long time since I've been on a beach in Spain. I don't know whether you've still got your fruit sellers out there. Germany have gone up a gear here, Balling, you're right. Their centre-back wearing number 7 is criminal, says Gamaldo. What, in an ability sense, or in the fact that he's wearing the number 7? I do think wearing a number 7 as a centre-back is a bit wrong. Tom Sween says, do you think United gets Diamonde? Absolutely not. I think they've got more chance of signing Yamal. We're not going to get Diamonde. What Ivory Coast need to do here is get to half-time, because Germany have upped the intensity. And what better way to do that than to counter here is Yan Diamonde down that left-hand side. Bit of possession here for Ivory Coast. 42 minutes gone. Team to win the cup at this stage. Darren, I've gone with England winning the tournament. So I will always stick with that. But I understand why people are going with France. France do look like the favourites. Torrin says, England are likely to be on the same half as the draw as Argentina and the opposite of France and Spain. I'd take that. France and Spain concern me more than Argentina. Even though Argentina are very good. Mount wearing a number 7 is a far bigger crime than a centre-back, says Rossi. Good point, well made. Unknown 2, thanks for your follow on TikTok, and Quelchi as well. And Carl and Dill. Undav has got 25 goals and 14 assists this season compared to 7 goals and 5 assists for Havertz. Why is he starting? A lot of managers like Havertz, whether it's Mikel Arteta, Nagelsmann. I think Havertz is an acquired taste for a lot of managers, and I think it's the overall package. It's his height and his ability to hold the ball up, link up play as well. You know, a lot of people don't rate Havertz, but a lot of coaches do, because he brings a lot to the plate. Ryan, Trey, Andrew, Josh, Hazza, Katana and Ben, thanks for your follows, and B. Farrell as well. Do you think USA have got a chance of going far? Absolutely. The big thing is finishing top of your group. If you finish top of your group, you've got a great chance of going to the last quarterfinals, because the draw will help you. What are the odds Norway beat France next Friday? If they do win, how does that change your opinion on France as favourites, says KG? Well, let's see what Norway do against Senegal first, because I actually think Senegal are a good team, and I thought they played well in the first half against France, and obviously France took it away from them in the second half. So, I mean, ultimately, I think France will finish top of that group. And as I've said before, you know, people say there's no jeopardy until the knockouts. There is jeopardy. Because finishing second in your group puts you in a really difficult situation to do well in the tournament. Finishing top of your group, you're going to get a better route. Miri says, what's your take on Ahmad? I like Ahmad. I think there is a consistency conversation. And hopefully he will find that in the next 12 months. Oh, God. Is there any chance Enmicha goes anywhere? He's been very good. Well, Real Madrid are looking at him. I think there's a possibility he goes to Real Madrid. United were looking at him, but I don't think we are anymore. 7 minutes added on. Why? Lee Johnson says, cracking game so far. This Ivory Coast have got some good players. Diao in midfield and Singo at right back have been really good. I do like Singo. Another corner here for Germany. Come out to Kimmich, cross to the back post. Headed away. Still on the attack, Germany. As I say, Ivory Coast just need to get to half-time, really. Good shot from distance, well blocked. Not that they're being dominated, just that Germany are pushing now to try and get that equaliser. Singo again, lovely play. I was very impressed with him against Ecuador, and Micha does really well there against him. Power against power there. Not says, how are we doing? Well this evening. Very good, mate. Very good. Hope you're all doing well as well. What have Germany got on the bench that they can utilise? Well, you mentioned Undav. Stiller, more of a midfield player. Voltemeda, obviously we know him from the Prem. Lowerling's a good winger. I think Lowerling plays for Stuttgart as well, actually, unless I'm getting mixed up. Udrago, another good young player from Leipzig. Obviously, Leonard Cole got pulled out for injury. So they have got options off the bench, but Musiala was looking for a free kick there, but I don't think he was going to get it. Somebody was saying about Rafinha that he might be in trouble with his injury. Obviously, he went off last night. If he stayed up for the late game, we were covering Brazil against Haiti. I don't think Brazil were massively convincing, but they got the job done. So Romano says that Rafinha's got a muscle injury. He'll undergo intensive treatment, staying with the Brazil squad at the World Cup and trying to recover for the later stages. He will miss the Scotland game. So we did sort of think that might be a longer term problem for Rafinha, and that's a big loss. I do hope not many teams are going to have those problems throughout this tournament, but it is a big loss. Bonnie's in down the right hand side here. I think he's just won a corner with about, oh no, still 3 minutes to go of this half. Just Pasty says, I don't understand Turkey. 60 shots and no goals. I didn't watch Turkey-Paraguay. I mean, I know the Australia game, it was a good performance by Australia, but you'd look at it as a Turkey fan and say that on a different way they should have won it. But I didn't watch the Paraguay game, and I didn't check the highlights. Still got a couple of minutes to go here. No free kick on the edge of the box, but Diamonde's got it in the box. Keeps it in. Well, I'll tell you what. If we do go in at half-time with Ivory Coast winning, we're in for a very exciting second half, that's for sure. Somebody just said they just showed I Show Speed on the big screen in Houston and he got booed. This is not in Houston though, is it? That must have been the other game. Do you think Neymar will make a difference for Brazil, says Runak? No, I don't actually understand why Neymar's in the tournament. But I'm not Brazilian, and I suppose if you're Brazilian, he's iconic, isn't he? It's probably the same thing that Portuguese have with Ronaldo, but as a lover of football and an outsider looking in, I would have took João Pedro. I don't think Neymar is anything more than a nostalgia trip, really. I might be proven wrong. I've been wrong in the past, but yeah, it feels like a bit of a nostalgia trip. And I mean, Ancelotti's a very experienced coach. He can probably make it work, but Saliba in for Ream and Raya for Freeze, USA, says William Zimmerman. Alex and Corrington, thank you very much for your follows. This could be 1-1. Oh, straight at the keeper. Verts. Couldn't get out his feet. Shay says, Enmicha would be an ideal signing for Man United for £80 million. Thank you, Shay. Yeah, I agree with you, actually. I bet they didn't boo Speed at all. I bet they were saying Sue because of the Ronaldo thing. Good point. It is half time. Let's stop the clock. So, half time. It is 1-0 to... actually, I just want to get the stats up here because I think it actually will be quite interesting to take a look. Half time, it's Germany 0, over Ivory Coast 1. Look, probably living up to the hopes I've had all week that this would be a good game. Germany have had more possession, as we can see, but they've also had more shots, about the same, well, exactly the same shots on target. Yeah, Germany are definitely slightly the better side on the stats and on the eye test, but if you're Ivory Coast and you're aspirational and you want to mix it up with the best, then I'd say that the game plan is the right game plan. Tactically well organised and, look to use the counter against the team that's going to have more possession. It's a good game plan, and it's working at the moment. Germany, since they've conceded 100%, have certainly, gone more on the front foot, and I think that's good for us to see. So, yeah, I'm happy with their performance so far, and obviously sets it up for a very, very exciting second half. JK, thanks for the follow, and Barfi as well, and Abdi Rahman, appreciate that. Josh says, I've got Ivory Coast in a sweepstake. I mean, I don't think they're going to win the World Cup. I think it's very, very difficult for anybody to win the World Cup outside of France, Argentina and Spain, if I'm being honest. But, at some point it will happen. Arsenal players has the biggest impact on England, says Now. Start, sit, sell. Alpha, it's start, bench, sell. England make the World Cup final but lose. Man United lose the Premier League by 1 point. Start over with 10,000 subscribers. Mate, you've really thought that through. That's just very, very nuanced, that is. And they're all quite negative. They're all bad. Start over with 10,000 subscribers. Man United lose the Premier League by 1 point. Or England make the World Cup final and lose. I mean, there's no good one. They're all bad. I can't pick. I think every one of them pissed me off, if I'm being honest. Thank you very much. TP, thanks for the follow. K-Dot, thanks for the follow. And Liam, thanks for the follow on TikTok. Owen says, I think Ivory Coast are fun to watch. Aaron and J-Raj and Brandon, thanks for your follows as well. Nagelsmann was not the right guy for Man United. What? Because he's losing at half-time to Ivory Coast. Get a job, mate. You're literally talking complete and utter arse. Ridiculous. I can't stand reactionary people. Oh, I've just watched a player I've never heard of before for 10 minutes, signing for Man United. Oh, here's a manager we should have gone for. He's losing at half time, not the man for Man United. Just complete and utter prat alert. I'm sorry, it's a pet hate of mine. It really does irritate me how ridiculously flip-flop some modern fans are. I shouldn't let it bother me. I should just ignore it. But it's just this live chat should come with an IQ test basically, and you'd fail it, mate. Big time. Ahmad looks good. Sign him up, says Arj. Cyber, well, I'll tell you what, I'll just block you, mate, and then that's the end of that. Goodbye. Which country do you think will be eliminated next, says Sad. Don't care, don't know, don't understand. Will Rashford start going forward, says Jack. God, it's just suddenly fell off a cliff, hasn't it? We've gone from 45 minutes of a really good conversation to prat alert in the chat. Pete Pat, thank you very much for your follow. I'm not reading your second name because that's racist. Mad Teach, thanks for your follow. David, thank you for agreeing with me. Haj says Diamonde's a good one. Look, I think if Liverpool sign Diamonde, it's going to be very, very exciting. I mean, I don't like Liverpool as a United fan, of course, but I think if Liverpool did sign Diamonde, it would be an incredible bit of business, and he'd be very exciting in the Premier League. I don't think he'd walk in and be an instant replacement for Salah. I think you'd have to give him time. I think he's still actually only 19 years of age, so you'd have to give him time. Yeah, he's not 20 until November. I think he's an incredible player. I mean, the latest on Yan Diamonde, I was going to do a video on it today, but just ran out of time, is that Leipzig want to keep him and put a release clause in for next season. Liverpool will go back in, and if they do have to sell him, they're hoping that there'll be a bidding war, RB Leipzig. But I think if Liverpool get the buy-in from the player, they should get the deal done. And what I'd say to Liverpool fans is, and we don't do this at United, so take it as a compliment, if you believe the player is the right player, pay the price. You know, you're not going to pay 200 million for him, which is ridiculous. The maximum you're going to pay is about 100 million pounds, 120 million euros. If you think he's the right player, buy him. Because buying a 19-year-old for 100 million euros, if he succeeds, in 2 years' time, it'll be worth 150 at 22. So the value is there, absolutely. And also, you spent 120 million on Wirtz, and I'm telling you now, Wirtz played in the same league, and Diamonde is as good as Wirtz, if not got more potential. So I wouldn't be worried about the price, but I don't think some clubs do care. I don't think fans of some clubs give a shit about the price. I think they just want to know it's the right player. He's the right player. So I think it'd be a very intelligent signing for Liverpool, and an exciting signing for the Premier League as well. I just wish he was going to wear a Man United shirt. Are you surprised by this, Mark, says Constantine? No, not really. We've watched most of the games in this World Cup. I think African football, Japanese football, African football, Asian football, South American football beyond Argentina and Brazil is getting stronger. It's never about having one or two good players. It's about having a good first team. And, you know, you look at this Ivory Coast team, and of course the plaudits will fall to Yan Diamonde and people like Kessie. But you look through that team, you know, the right back, Singer, very, very good. They've even got good benches now. So I think it's I don't think it's a surprise. I think it's an exciting element of modern football that these teams can mix it up. Look, there's 45 minutes to go, and I do think that that Germany have got every chance of coming back into it. But it'd be great for the tournament if Ivory Coast could get a result. Certainly. Which World Cup player has impressed you and would sign, says Mystic? I think Bouada at Morocco. Didn't know a lot about him. Watched him play 2 games. Arsenal have been scouting him for a long time. I think he looks like a really good player. Yeah. Maybe it's because it's a player I'd like in a style that I'd like United to sign. Hamza says, "Are you giving Liverpool advice? They don't need my advice. Liverpool should hijack player from Enter," says Galmaldo. Tattoo, thanks for the follow. User 828 as well. Caden LFC, thanks for your follows as well. Will says, "Did you have any bets on at Ascot today?" No, but I did turn my telly on and see a bunch of prats walking around with stupid hats. I just was like, what is this shit? Get it off. I don't really understand the horse racing phenomenon, if I'm being honest. Respect if you like it, but I just don't get it. It's never really been something that excites me, no. Roman, Birch, and One Stormy, thanks for the follow. Appreciate you. Man United win a Champions League and Premier League 3 times, but 5 random dogs die, says Hamza. I'm not talking about that. I've had emails from the RSPCA before for hypotheticals. I'm not getting involved. It's not worth the hassle. MMA Lover says, this guy, Nmicha, I've seen him a couple of times. He's absolutely superb. I think for my club, Liverpool, Man United, City, he'd start every game. He doesn't have half the hype and recognition he should have. I think he's a very good player. He has previously been linked to... I'm going to sneeze. I don't know where these sneezes come from. Well, my nose. Yeah, he's been linked to United. He's been linked to Liverpool. I do think that Real Madrid are definitely very interested in him. Whether that'll solidify or not, he's a good player, and I think the great thing about him is that he is, you know, he's tall, he's quick, he's good on the ball, he can score a goal as well. I think he's you know, almost like a perfect identikit midfielder for the Premier League. But I have heard that Jose's looking at him, so I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up there. Good stuff. Caveman Gaming says, this feels like a country will win their first ever World Cup. I don't know who it will be, but I'd like to see the USA win because I think the sport will grow much quicker than if we don't. I mean, look, the sport growing in the USA is good for everybody. Global growth of a sport is good for everything, but that North American market is absolutely huge, and Pochettino's done a very good job. Do I think the USA are going to win the World Cup? I would liken it to Leicester winning the Premier League, as somebody said on the late night stream last night. I think it would be, you know, a ridiculous achievement. It's not impossible, but I think it would be a very difficult achievement. I think Japan winning the World Cup, Ivory Coast winning the World Cup, Morocco winning the World Cup, Colombia winning the World Cup. These are very, very unlikely things to happen. I would love, if England were not in the tournament, for them to do it. But we haven't won the World Cup since 1966. I know we're not classed as a dark horse, but I think you have to be when you haven't won it since 1966. So I would love somebody to win this World Cup that's not Spain, Argentina, France, or Brazil. I want it to be England. I think we can win it. But if we don't, I just don't want it to be Argentina, France, Germany, or Brazil. And not because I dislike them. I don't dislike them. I just think it would be great for football if they didn't. Not only does Nagelsmann play good football, he spoke 3 languages in his press conference, German, French and English, says Tabiso. And he's under 40. Champ, Queen, Joseph, thank you very much for your follows. And GI Soccer as well. Appreciate you. Do you think an African team will ever win the World Cup? Well, it's a very, very bold and definitive statement to say an African team will never win the World Cup. The issue you have, I remember Pele saying something, I think it was in the 90s, that an African team will win the World Cup by 2010. And when it's like 20 years in the future, you think, oh, we might be onto something. It's 2026 and we've never had an African team win the World Cup. The issue is, and it's the same for, let's say, Japan or Colombia or the USA or any African team, the issue is not winning the World Cup. You know, Ivory Coast today are better than the Ivory Coast team that played in the World Cup in 2006, and they're way better than the Ivory Coast team in 1990 who didn't play in the World Cup, you know what I mean? Same with Japan, same with USA. Their teams are getting better. The problem you've got is, in 20 years' time, France aren't going to get any worse. You know? No one, you know, France, England, Germany, Brazil, Argentina, they're not going to stand still in the footballing world, are they? So you're always, no matter how good you are, you're always going to come up against decent, established sides. It's funny because in the Euros, I wouldn't say it was regular, but we have seen teams win the Euros that are not, you know, the powerhouses. I mean, Greece won it in 2004. Denmark won it in 1992. But in the World Cup, I mean, who was the last underdog to win the World Cup? Probably France in 1998 because they'd never won it before. Portugal winning the Euros, I wouldn't say Portugal are on a level with Greece or Denmark, considering they had one of the best players in the world playing up front. Second half is up and running. Nice ball out to Ahmad. He's got a bit of space. Lays it off, and Germany will clear it. What Ivory Coast need to do in this second half is be very, very effective with the ball when they get it, because they're going to have to face a lot of attacks from Germany. Good point here from MD. He says they need to develop their domestic leagues and make it competitive enough to have players stay there and compete rather than seeking a move to Europe and then representing those teams. I mean, that is a fair point. That does happen a lot, doesn't it? And CCC says the World Cup is difficult to win. Look at the winners over the last 20 years. It's the same teams. Having said that, if you keep on improving, and I do see improvements, then yes, anything is possible. Look, an African team could win this World Cup. They might not win one for 100 years. I just think it's a bit like passing your driving test. Does it become more passable the more years that you try it? Well, technically, I suppose it does, but it doesn't mean you're not going to fail it every time either. Havertz trying to hold it up, but that's going to go out for a throw-in. I don't think you can describe Germany 2014 as underdogs. They've won the World Cup multiple times. Facing Dexter, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much for that. Nuramed, thank you very much for follow. Bit of space now for Germany. Musiala could have gone down. Stayed on his feet, goes for a corner. Lovely feet. Thoughts on a World Cup being a World Cup, no qualifying, just all going at it? Yes, be long and painful, but leaves no stone unturned. Ray, how's that going to bloody work? There'd be literally hundreds of countries in it. Max says, I don't think Ahmad's very good, period. Do I think South Africa can beat South Korea? I didn't watch South Korea-Mexico. I did actually think South Korea would win that, but, you know, fair play to Mexico. Kimmich, good cross to the back post. Keeper will get hold of that. Diamonde on the left-hand side. Ivory Coast just slowing the play down a bit. What do you think of the whole grandparents' heritage so you can represent that nation? I think it should be where you're born. Nah, I disagree, Michael, because what if your parents are Scottish and your dad gets a promotion and goes to live in Mexico on a 3-year contract, and in year 1 your mum gets pregnant with you and it's your dad's. She's not had an affair with a Mexican. So you're born in Mexico. Your dad does the final 2 years of his contract. You then go back to Scotland. You've got to play for Mexico. But you're only there because your dad's working there for a couple of years. So I don't agree with you can only play for the country where you were born, because the world's so transient now. You know, surely, I think you don't need to go to grandparents if you don't want to. You could say it's where you're born or your parents' nationality. So in that situation, you could play for Mexico if you wanted to, or you could play for Scotland because that's what your parents are. For me, where you're born is like saying you can only support a team from where you live. I just think it's 2026. Lovely play. Oh, Kessie again. Didn't catch it cleanly, and Neuer gets hold of it. The main reason US soccer is not a powerhouse is that the best athletes are pushed towards other sports, says Silver. I love NFL, like American football. I absolutely love it. The thing I can't stand about it is I couldn't deal. I don't know whether we've got anybody watching from America who likes the NFL. I could not deal with loving a sport that only runs from September to Christmas. I mean, from January to August, I'd be depressed. It's just too long an off-season. Here's Ahmad. Lays it off over the bar again. Ivory Coast are creating chances. Hunter says it goes to February. Not really, though. It doesn't really go to February, does it? The playoffs isn't every team, and once you're out the playoffs, you can be out the playoffs in the first week of Jan. It's only if you get to the Super Bowl that you go to the first week in Feb, isn't it? I'm saying if you support a team that doesn't do well in the playoffs, you're basically not doing anything in January. Do you think we'll ever see Pakistan or India at a World Cup, says Zar? I genuinely do not understand why India aren't good at football, because there are so many Indians who love football. And normally that goes hand in hand with, being good at football, if you like it. But it must be a resources and coaching issue. Maybe there's not many pitches, I don't know. Good start to the second half. Ivory Coast have had a couple of chances on the break. They're defending well at the moment as well. I feel like Nagelsmann will have to make some changes in the next 10 minutes. Here's Sane. Good cross to the back post. Havertz. Keeper gets hold of it. Thesp says, I think the rules should be revised, such as if a player has played for several youth levels, that should be a concrete commitment to playing for that nation. You see loads of players, I think Balogun is one of them as well. They play like under 16s, under 17s, under 18s, under 19s, under 20s for one nation, and then they play senior football for another. Chip, thanks for the follow. Nice ball out to Ahmad. He's got a bit of space. Singer's on the overlap, but lays it off. I tell you what, Ivory Coast do move the ball around very nicely. Alpha says, new rule 2030 World Cup in the knockout stages all the way through to the final. Whichever team you beat, you get to bring on one of their players. So if England knocked out France, we could have Elise. What a ball into Kessie. I think it was Ahmad who laid it in. Tell you what, Kessie's getting into some good positions. Lovely ball in by Ahmad. Yeah, it was a good ball. And his first touch just took it away from him. Sorry, I didn't actually let you know that we've had a substitution at half-time. Schlotterbeck went off and Rudiger came on. Dark Matter, Wall Street, Yusuf, thanks for your follows on TikTok. And thanks for your super chats on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right hand corner. Grealish and Rice with Ireland, says TR. Lots of people saying Ahmad's had a good game. Yeah, he's been good today. I'll tell you what, I don't want to jinx it, but Ivory Coast at the moment are actually doing a good job. Nice ball down the wing. Is he going to whip it in? He is. Ahmad. Oh, Brown just got there in front of him. They have been I mean, Germany at the back looking a little bit ropey. Here's Singer again. Ahmad. Nice feet. Edge of the box. Oh, he had so much time. Yan Diamonde came to me on the edge of the box. Almost had too much time to hit it. Dragged it wide. Wasn't an easy chance, to be fair. He wasn't central and he was being closed down, but didn't quite get hold of it. Ahmad's doing great, says Callum. Ahmad's killing it, says Savage. Jail says, damn, Ivory Coast are doing pretty good here. Here's Sane. Terrible pass. But it does show you, doesn't it? Like, you know, you see a team in game one and you think, oh, they're going to be a good team. And you have to assess it on an ongoing basis, because Sweden against Tunisia. Oh, Sweden. Shit. Today, get beat 5-1 by the Netherlands. Germany, Germany. In this game, I wouldn't say they're playing badly, but it's difficult. Rudiger's going to hit that. Wild. They won't mind that. Substitutions. Here we go. Get Stiller on. Good thing about having someone like Bonnie up front for Ivory Coast is as well. He's one of them strikers that can, you know, bit like Osman, bit like Brobby, bit like Kane, bit like Haaland. They give that physicality as well. Occupy centre backs in a sense that they can alleviate the pressure for your back four, hit a long ball every now and again. 3 changes. I don't think I saw Stiller. I think Undav's coming on. Explain to me why Germany won't get grouped, says Kevin, because they've already got 3 points and they've got a high goal difference, so they'll go through on 3 points anyway. But remember, if Ivory Coast win this game, they've won the group because it's head-to-head, and they'll have beaten Ecuador and Germany. So Curacao obviously aren't going to do anything. So Ivory Coast win this, they've won the group. Do you think there's a chance that England will drop off against Ghana? I think Croatia will beat Ghana. And I think England... The game that worries me about England is Panama. Because I think against Ghana, we'll have the motivation and focus to continue where we left off against Croatia. But then you've got 6 points. You're definitely going to top the group. Because, head-to-head, we'll have beaten the 2 best teams. But then... You've got Panama, where you're probably going to rotate, and then you lose rhythm. Dino says 1 player missing from Ivory Coast is Zaha. I don't know where Zaha is now. I don't know when he last played for Ivory Coast, but M. Ballo says I don't think Germany are that good. It's just their first game was easy. Musiala, Pavlovic and Sane off. Llewellyn, Undav and Amiri on. Let's have a look at the current squad. I don't know much about him here. I was just having a look. He plays for Mainz. He's 29, so experience really. Not a player I've really noticed in the Bundesliga this season. Amiri. Llewellyn is quite a quick, direct winger. Plays for Stuttgart, as does Undav. So you might have that little link up there. They do have another striker. I mean, they've got Voltemeda, but they do have Bayer as well, who's still quite young, plays for Dortmund. He's given a penalty. No. I thought he'd given a penalty then. I saw him pointing at the spot. I thought, shit. They should take Havertz off, says Charlie. Caveman Gaming says, as an American who loves the Premier League, why does it feel like I'm getting the bad end of the stick? Are these laws preventing me from being able to see most games? Are there laws preventing me from being able... I don't know what you're talking about, Caveman. I would have thought in the United States, you get to see more games legitimately than we do in the UK with our numerous rules. Last of the Redskins says, you ever seen an NFL game in person yet? I highly suggest going to any that come to your shores. I love it when United comes to the US. I have been offered a couple of times to go to the Spurs stadium actually, but normally they come over in the autumn and it does clash with the Premier League. Harrison, thanks for your follow. Corner here to Germany. It's a good corner from Kimmich. Keeper came for it, didn't get it. Header on the back post, Havertz, but he's missed the target. Roman and Refi, thanks for your follows. Kevin says, I got offered to go to the Spurs Stadium too, but I decided to watch birds in Stoke. Well, the clock is ticking. We've had 20 minutes of this second half and it's still 1-0. Chances for both sides. Germany on the attack here. There was a player gone down there. He's got back up now. Here's Llewellyn. And he's messed that up. Alpha says every EPL game streams on Peacock. Chris, I can't read that because it's just too predictably putting two rude names together, and I'm not that stupid. Thanks for everyone who subscribed on YouTube, by the way. We're heading towards 488,000 on the road to 1.5 million. Make sure you subscribe, get involved, part of the community. Our next watch along, by the way, I didn't do it at half time. So our schedule is as follows. Not doing Ecuador Curacao at 1 a.m, funnily enough. And I'm definitely not doing Japan Tunisia at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. I think it's at 5 a.m. So we're back at 5 p.m. tomorrow for Spain against Saudi. It's a lovely ball there. You feel like Germany will get a big chance at some point. I don't know whether one goal is going to be enough for Ivory Coast. But it's another corner for Germany. Alfie, Chopper, Jamie, Edits, Abubakar, thank you very much for your follows. Colo as well. Juan says, if Ivory Coast wins this game, what are your thoughts on Germany, Ecuador? Well, it would be a little bit nervy for Germany if they lose this game and Ecuador beat Curacao, because that would put Ecuador and Germany both on 3 points going into the last game. And obviously, if Germany were to lose to Ecuador, they'd then be in a position where they'd only go through if 3 points is enough. So, you know, it would be a very interesting game, the final one. I don't know when Germany play Ecuador, actually. Let me have a quick look. 9 o'clock on Thursday. Keeper's just jumped for that. And I don't know what he's moaning about, because it's his own player who actually barges him in the back. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Got nearly 12,000 on YouTube. Love that. What am I doing tonight? Well, I haven't got a late game, so I think I might just, you know, pop down the club. Yeah, I might go to the club tonight, you know. No, I'm not going to the bloody club tonight. I'm a bollocks. I don't know how to pronounce his name, Gamaldo, but he says that Ole for Ivory Coast has been Fantastic. He's only 20 years of age. Plays for Trabzonspor. And there's the goal for Germany. You did feel like it might come. And it has. Amiri had a big part to play with it as well. And it's Undav who scores. Or is it Amiri who scores? Muller there celebrating. Oh, it's a lovely cross into the box. It's Undav, isn't it? So who puts that cross in then? That's what Undav can do. He scored a lot of goals this season for Ivory Coast. Sorry, for Stuttgart. And he gets on the end of that one. It was a delightful cross. Kessie's trying to compose the team. Was at Brighton, you're right, yeah. Germany back in it. Of course, if these two teams draw, it will come down to goal difference if Germany beat Ecuador and Ivory Coast beat Curacao. But we've still got 20 minutes to go here. Bad defending, says Kevin. Who put the cross in? You've got to be careful now. Germany are pushing hard. The only person in my group of friends that loves football, enjoying a drink with me, with the That's Football family. Cheers, says Last of the Redskins. Thank you, pal. Well, we are a family/community here. You're very welcome. I don't know. I would never have been able to get through some of these games if it wasn't for you lot, especially some of the early hour games. Coffee's helped as well, but Blake says, love all your content. What's your thoughts on Conor McGregor coming back in a few weeks? It's wild stuff. I mean, he's been out for a long time, hasn't he? I don't know. I don't really follow UFC. Boxing, yes. UFC, no. But to me, that seems like a long time to be out. Marlowe says, really impressed with Ahmad today. Heads above Diamonde. United mustn't forget what a player they have in Ahmad. Foreseen, thanks for the follow. One-way traffic at the moment, says Jose. Yeah, look at the high line of Nagelsmann's system here as well. Rudiger and Tar playing so high up. That's a lovely ball into the box. I don't think Ivory Coast are going to be able to resist this for another 20 minutes. They need an out ball. And I think, lovely play by Yann Diamonde, but it's going to be a throw-in. And I think that's the problem, isn't it? You get the goal, you are the underdog, and naturally you just do start to slip deeper. And that's great if there's only 10 minutes to go. Hydration break, but that. Yeah, hydration break. Good evening, Mark. Missed my super chat. Didn't. Just went back and I spoke it, mate. Don't ever put a super chat in, wasting your money saying you missed my super chat, because I don't miss them. I just sometimes just let them accumulate and then go back through them. Dead R33D says Ivory Coast wasted too many chances. I mean, to be fair though, when you look at it in the second half, they haven't had the most chances Germany have. But at this stage, I feel like Ivory Coast would do well to get out of this with a draw. The hydration break probably comes at a good time, actually. Gives the manager, the coach, an opportunity to calm things down. Toronto looks like a nice city. Don't know whether it is. Oh, it was Amiri who put the cross in. It was a delightful cross. Good finish by Undav as well. According to Sky, Newcastle rejected Spurs' bid. Thanks, Man United fan for life. Thank you, pal. Shit, a duck. That was a big smash, that. Yeah, Yandy Monday is playing on the left wing. I think the Ivory Coast manager just went for a piss. He was down the tunnel. I just woke up the dog, sorry. Alexa, play Agadoo. Arata says Ivory Coast will win. Sebe, thanks for your follow. So, final 20 minutes of an intriguing game of football here. What do you do if you're Ivory Coast in this situation? I'm saying to my team, look, we're dropping too deep. Let's try and maintain our defensive shape and organisation, and let's utilise the ball when we get it on the break. Ahmad's off, which means Bonnie, Diallo and Sangari off. Gesend, Adingra and Fofana on. I thought he might bring Torre on, actually. So Adingra used to be at Brighton. He's now at Monaco. Gesend is at Crystal Palace. And I didn't see. Who else did he bring on? Was it Fofana from Porto? KJ says, do you think Germany will go for the win or the draw? It's a good point. I mean, I think naturally, I just think naturally Germany will try and win it. Hamoud says, I can see Germany scoring 2 more after this break. You just set off my Alexa, mate, says Kent. PS4, good times. Let me go and have a look. I just heard Billie Jean being blasted out. What a banger, says John Reck. PSV good time says United should sign this Ahmad guy. I read that out. Definitely read that out. Ray Cowley says, should penalties be replaced by the crossbar challenge but blindfolded? Thank you very much, pal. Josh Swain, thanks for your follow. And son of Ronaldo. Ivory Coast, they don't give fouls for that. Get up, mate. Another German player down. These players lying around on the floor. Get up. It is encouraging players to get up. I've got to say, that was brilliant. 2 players on the floor, Ivory Coast player and a German player. They go down, they don't get the free kick, they look around for a minute, and then they get up and they start running. It's a fascinating insight to the re-education of the modern footballer. Going down for fouls they've always been given, and then realising they're not going to give them and they better get up. It's incredible. Germany on the attack. Aaron, thanks for the follow. Jay Turner as well. King Apollo says, I think Germany are going to win this. Well, we've still got 12 minutes plus added time. These referees are being told to do this, by the way. They're being told to play on. And it's had a great... look, I said it in the previous game. I'm not normally one to applaud FIFA, UEFA, etc. But I do applaud... I think the way they've run this World Cup with the officials has suddenly made officials the goats of the tournament. Normally, they're there to be ridiculed, but they're being given the authority to be respected. Never before have we had referees so respected. They are really earning fans' respect because of their ability to get the game. Well, the leash is off, isn't it? I'm going to play on. I'm going to play on. Get the ball in play. Make that throw in. Now it's Germany on the break, but Havertz will not be quick enough for that. He's gone down on the pitch with a hamstring. Nagelsmann not very happy because he was injured off the pitch and he walked onto the pitch off it. Lots of people talking about Nmicha in the chat. He's had a good game. When you don't want, from a Ivory Coast perspective, you don't want Singo pulling his hamstring because he's been a massively important player for them. He did feel his hamstring. Ooh. That would be a big loss for them. Although I think he's back on the pitch now. I've been very impressed with Singo in both games for Ivory Coast, actually. Referees blocked the shot. Fourth highest international goal scorers. Sunil is pride of Indian football. Wrong referee decision cost India qualification versus Qatar, says Cal. There we go. Should the Premier League introduce game changers like they do in, well, Baller League? Let's say for the last 15 of each half, says Ray. No. No. I've got to be honest, the game changers in Baller League get on my tits sometimes. If you're winning the game going into a game changer, you sort of like don't want them. He needed to play that pass. Ivory Coast. He's still going though. Go wide, go wide. Diamonde, bit of space off the right-hand side. He prefers to play on the right-hand side, by the way. Oh, lazy. Lazy pass there. He's probably tired. Into the last 10 minutes. Apparently Keir Starmer's going to resign as Prime Minister. If you're into politics, which I'm not. Non-stop football, thanks for the follow. Ollie, thanks for the follow as well. Ms. Ozil, thanks for the follow. Corner here to Ivory Coast. We've still got a good 10 minutes to go here. Not a very good corner. And Germany will bring it away, but not very far. Ivory Coast win it back. No, I wouldn't say this is going to end in a draw. It feels like there's a goal in it. Not sure to who. Good winning the ball back by Yandy Amonde. I think that's going to go for a throw-in for Ivory Coast as well. Grand Prairie Cobra says, I think the ref's got dollars on the coast of Ivory. Yandy Amonde is coming off here, looks absolutely exhausted, and Pepe is coming on. Arsenal fans, you might know. Blake Henry, 14-year-old striker for Derby County, has scored 45 goals this season, will join Manchester United. Wow, he ain't going to be playing for his next season, is he, at 14? Did you know Chelsea's first 6 games are all in London, says Dino. I did not know that, no. I do now. Am I doing the 1 AM game? No. No. I think my strategy for the World Cup has always been I want to watch the games, the good games. I think in the first week, I wanted to watch as many of the teams as I could as soon as I could. So I did a lot of the Game 1 games. Game 2, Game 3, more strategic approach. I don't know that I'd have done Ecuador Curacao in game week 1 though, to be fair. I mean, Ecuador will win that game as well anyway. It's just a question about by how many. Our next watch along is Spain versus Saudi Arabia at 5 o'clock tomorrow. Sorry about that last comment about the group winners. Norwegian commentators are confusing me, says Marlow. Thanks for your super chat. Hader, yeah, I know I did. Thanks, pal. Matt says you missed my first super chat. Let me have a look. I still don't think this is heading for a draw. Pepe running down the wing. He's got loads of space. Imagine. He's got to go far post. He's got to go far post. This is such a great chance. Oh, he's not took it. What a prat. A Dingra. He's got to hit that first time. You've got to back yourself, mate. You're a professional footballer. He's absolutely bottled that. Pepe's done really well. Gets into the box. Lays it across to a Dingra. He's just got to back himself on a running ball. And he's gone to take a touch. At this level, no. This ain't Sunday football with your mates. You got to take that first time. That was a great chance. And Germany are very lucky. You're absolutely spot on, Vinny. Vinny! You're very spot on. Constantine says, are you doing Ecuador, Curacao? God, no. And Germany nearly won it. Brown, good shot, good save. That would have been a right kick in the nuts for Ivory Coast, having had the chance to win it themselves. Is this referee a rugby referee? Says Grand Prairie. Marlowe says, why does the number ones in group stage meet each other? Didn't it used to be an advantage to get the first place? Says Marlowe. I live next to the stadium, says Matt, and tried to get tickets. There were $2,500 in the 200 level. FIFA. Much love from Toronto and come on United. Thank you, Matt. That is an incredible amount of money to spend on a game of football. Cal says, fourth highest international goal scorer. Has done that one. Thank you. I don't understand. Hold on. No. It's going back to the noise that is. I don't understand why they don't bring in Voltemeda. He's tall striker and can just get balls into the box on his head. Ivory Coast giving the Germans a game, says Mario. And Daniel says, how's your back and neck doing? Hope it's better. My back's always going to be a problem, but the neck was just a pulled muscle. It is a lot better. Alfie, Horton and Harry, thanks for your follows. What a chance. This is it. Look, Adingra here. And Pepe lays it for him to hit it. There's no need to take a touch. It's actually in his stride just to put his foot around it. You know, if you miss the target or the keeper saves it, all right, you've missed a chance, but to not get the shot off is criminal. And now it's Germany, and it's another great save by the keeper. And to be honest, it's probably, well, still could go either way. Lewis says, count Binface for Prime Minister. Still got 5 minutes to go. To be fair though, since that big chance for Adingra, Germany have had two good chances. Gerson says, with previous penalty losses, how afraid are you for England to have a penalty shootout after the round of 32? I don't like penalty shootouts. I can't stand penalty shootouts for Man United or England. I struggle with them. They're very difficult to deal with. But I think if you want to win the World Cup, you've got to win at least one penalty shootout. You're going to be very lucky to win a World Cup without winning a penalty shootout. I mean, look, the answer is to be so good that you win the game in normal time, but ultimately, you know, Argentina and France was a penalty shootout. What's going on here? I'll tell you what, there's a lot of players out there very tired. You sort of be looking at it and thinking about muscles here. Uh, 20223331 says, rate the officiating so far. Out of 10, I'd give it an 8. I think so many games have flowed really quickly. So many petty fouls aren't getting given. No long throw-ins. Every aspect of the game is quick. I think it's a well overdue change to football, especially when you look at the Premier League last season. It was shockingly slow. It really was, and this World Cup has worked really well. Not a big fan of the hydration break, but I'd definitely take that to have what we've got. Still 3 minutes. Still time. It's a lovely ball into Brown. Good defending though. Ivory Coast still looking for a little break, but not going to get it with that. James says, would you rather go blind or deaf? I mean, this is a chance, and it's a goal. He's off. He's on. He's on. Goal, 2-1 Germany. Well, I tell you what, you've got to applaud it. You've got to applaud it. They've won it right at the end. It's harsh. That's why you bring Undav 2 goals. It's harsh, but this is the World Cup, and that's the lesson, isn't it? You're winning the game 1-0, you lose the game 2-1, and you know that this is what we're talking about. Will we get an underdog winning a World Cup? Not when the establishment can do that. Never switch off. Exactly, Billy. It's poor defending as well. Look, he's not even marked. It's bad defending, that. It's really bad defending. I don't know who the defender is for the Ivory Coast there. Agbadou of Besiktas. Maybe a bit tired, but it's poor defending, and that's going to be a Germany win. They'll be top in the group. They'll be top in the group, Germany. A win for them. There's nothing Ivory Coast can do now. They can finish on the same points, but the head-to-head will put Germany top. Little bit disappointing. I mean, he's miles onside. There's absolutely no element of offside there at all. We don't even need to see the line. I mean, God, he's miles on. Why did Brett Brighton let him go? I don't know. I just think it's just one of them players where, you know, some players work in some leagues and some in don't. I mean, look, Isaac wasn't prolific in La Liga. Comes to the Prem, bang. But don't sleep on Stuttgart. They've had a very good season. They'll be in the Champions League next year. It's been a good game. I'd say it's been a bit of a disappointing result simply because I'd rather have seen the underdog get a result. But Ivory Coast can still have a good tournament. I mean, look, there's no shame in losing 2-1 to Germany with a last-minute goal, is there? But it's a lesson in not switching off. Trying to do a shout-out for husband for his birthday, but whatever I write, it's not working. So if you see this, please wish my husband, Ozzy, a happy birthday. He's a big fan, says Kirsten Hill. Happy birthday to Ozzy. I hope you have a fantastic birthday from me and everybody as part of That's Football. CJ says, I've been impressed with Enmicha and Brown and Undav. Final whistle. Big result for Germany. Nagelsmann's well happy with that. The reason he's happy is not only because they've won a game of football, but also because they are top of the group. Why has he not gone and shook the hand of the coach of Ivory Coast straight away? Or has he already done that? Maybe he did that before the final whistle. Adingra did have the chance. Oh, no, he's shaking his hand now. All good. Well, look, Ivory Coast, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the World Cup. Lesson learned. You'll probably get to the knockout stage. If you play like that in the knockout stage, you don't take your chances and you switch off, you'll be going home. They're not going to be going home yet, but Germany showed that, you know, they can be a team that causes issues in this tournament. Ivory Coast will go through to the next stage because they've got Curaçao. They only need a point, so they'll still go through. It's just that they could have gone through as top of the group, couldn't they? Absolute legends. I've really enjoyed the 2 watch-alongs with you today. If you didn't see the video on United Stand, check that out. I'm back on the United Stand at 10 a.m. tomorrow, and we're back here tomorrow at 5 p.m. for Spain against Saudi. So a slightly earlier game tomorrow. Have a great evening, what you're doing. I'm not doing any early hours today, so if you are, good luck with that. If not, get a bit of a rest or whatever. And we'll reconvene tomorrow at 5 p.m. as the story continues. Enjoyed that, though. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being my company, as always. Great little community we've got building here across the World Cup. And I will speak to you on the next one. Take care.